Good morning everybody and welcome to this week's episode of Show Us Your Kits here at Hobbies Australia. I'm Andrew and I thought this morning what we would do is talk about the range of SD or egg models currently available through Hobbies Australia. So this genre of modelling probably came to the fore 4, maybe 5 years ago. And it was pretty much first brought to market by the brand Meng, and they brought out a range of armoured fighting vehicles. They were fun, they were funky. They started off with, as I said, the armoured fighting vehicles. They then branched out into a range of military aircraft. A couple of other brands then followed suit, so we now have represented here at Hobbies Australia, we have AFV Club, who do both armoured fighting vehicles and a range of aircraft. A brand that's new to us, Freedom Models, and they focus on modern military aircraft and also a nice range of helicopters. We'll have a look at those in a moment. From the brand Suyata, they do a range of World War I aircraft. So we have the Fokker triplane, we have the Sopwith Camel. They also have some of this sci-fi, and this is called their mobile armour 4-in-1, the nut group, the armoured nut group. We'll have a look at some pictures of that in a moment. That's really quite fun and funky. The other brand that we have here at Hobbies Australia is from Mobius. Now Mobius do an egg Viper from the Battlestar Galactica, the original TV series, and that comes up like that. So fun, funky. The whole idea of the SD range or egg range is that it's exactly that. It's fun and it's funky. It doesn't really have a scale that we would traditionally associate with modelling. Maybe 1/48 at best, but as you can see here, it's all about making it look like, I guess for want of a better term, than egg. We stubby it up, we exaggerate some of the details on it, and we end up with quite a fun and funky looking kit. The great thing about these ranges is that it opens modelling up to a whole new generation. Quite often I get asked about these ranges, and I recommend these for younger people, for kids who want to work with dad or granddad at the workbench, because these are fun and funky. They're a snap together kit basically. You just need to get the parts off the sprue, a little bit of cleanup. There's no need for glue, no need for filler. And in some of these cases, there's no need for paint. When we look at the range from Suyata, they're actually all multicoloured plastic. So you can build a really nice model straight out of the box. And so not only is it aimed at younger people, people getting into hobbies or into modelling, and people who want to do something different, but for older modelers, guys like myself who suffer occasionally from the dreaded modeller's block, and you just have X amount of models on the bench already built or half built or at various stages of completion, but you want something that you can knock together over a weekend or even over an afternoon. The egg range is really, really tailored towards that. We'll crack open a box in a moment from Suyata and we'll have a look at the attention to detail that's in there, and it's really quite impressive. You know, if we look at this model here from AFV Club, for our argument's sake, the F104 Starfighter. This retails for $39. Now, what's really good about here is there's actually 2 models within the kit. So, you know, it's pretty good value for money. They're armoured fighting vehicles, for argument's sake. They put a little friction motor in them, so you can have these things scooting around on your desk if you want to. There's a little adapter plate that goes up here in the commander's cupola, and you can actually put Lego figures in there. So it's really fun, really funky. Freedom Models, that's a brand that's just relatively new to us. But again, you know, these ranges of M60 helicopters, Seahawks, Black Hawks, these are really nicely done. Sure, they're a little bit left to centre, but that's what the hobby's all about, is trying new and exciting things. And look, these things, they retail for $33 odd. So they're not going to break the bank, but they're a nice, easy build and they're a fun build. We then look at the Viper, and you know, as I said, it's all clicked together. So you'll see there, any seam lines or join lines, they're not over the top. They can be filled if you want to. But again, you get a nice model straight out of the box, and then it comes down to the individual painting and weathering, the application of decals that are supplied, and away we go from there. What we've got here, this is the new one from Suyata. The Mobile Armour 4-in-1, the Armoured Nut Group. Now this is really, really a little bit of fun. So you've got an almond, a peanut, a walnut, and a chestnut. There's a really bad taste joke in there, but we'll leave that alone. As you can see here by the instructions, how these build up, this is a real sci-fi take. It's fun, it's funky, it's different. And that's what's really exciting about the hobby. We've got lots of new products coming through, lots of new brands, and that allows us to push the envelope as modelers. Ryan will get some pictures, some close-ups of the sprues here, but as you can see, it's all multicoloured plastic. So as I said, you don't need to paint if you don't want to. You just cut the parts off the sprues, clean them up, they're clicked together. Sure, a little bit of glue in there if you want to, possibly some filler if you're that way inclined, if you want to get a really perfect job. But again, it's entirely up to the modeler. So that's the Mobile Armour 4-in-1 armoured nut set from Suyata, retailing for about $80. But when you think about it, there's 4 models in the box. So it is good value for money. The egg planes from Suyata that I really quite enjoy are their World War I Fokker triplane and their Sopwith Camel. Anything of a World War I topic is really hot, really popular in modelling circles, and the egg planes build on that. What we will see from Suyata in coming months, coming shipments, is they have a range of Titanic, the mail ship Titanic, and that will be coming to us in a couple of different variations. We've got Titanic the ship with the iceberg, we've got Titanic in a dock situation. They'll be coming with us, or they'll be arriving with us shortly, and we'll have some more information on that at a later time. Now what I would like to point out is, here we go, the Sopwith Camel and Brownie. So we get the aircraft, we get the pilot in a stylised form. Instructions, as we've pointed out with Suyata before, they're very simple to follow. The paint colours are called out, but not necessarily the brand. It's a multicoloured plastic kit. So again, if you don't want to paint it, you don't need to, but it's entirely up to the individual. You can see there the sprues, all the different colours. We'll have a look at some of those in a moment. And the other thing that's really nice with this is it gives you 2 fuselage options. You've got the solid pre-coloured, but you've also got a transparent. So you could make this model with one side painted, camouflaged, but the other side could have the transparent side used, so you could actually look into the model, see all the formwork around the cockpit, the internal workings, the rudders, the control stick, the oil tanks, the gun mechanisms, etc. All that detail is provided in this kit. These World War I biplanes in the egg form from Suyata retail for around about $43. And you might think initially, gee, that is a bit for one of these super deformed or SD models. But when you open the box, there is an awful lot of plastic in there and there's a lot of attention to detail. So $43 is a nice solid investment for what is a very buildable model. The fit of parts seems to be really quite good. As I said, there's no real need for any filler. It is a snap together kit. Some of the attachment points for the sprues are in a little bit strange location, but you just need to be mindful of that when you're removing the parts. A little bit of a cleanup. And away you go. It's going to be a very nice build, and it's going to be a nice representation of a Sopwith Camel in the SD format. So yeah, it ticks an awful lot of boxes. Decals are nice, they're within register, they're printed in-house by Suyata, so there's no real surprises there. The figure of the pilot, again, clipped together. You can paint him up, weather him if you like. You don't have to use him if you don't want to. But yeah, that's all supplied in the box for you. There's the solid fuselage. There's the internal formwork, already done. Okay, clips in nicely, nice and secure, okay, looks the goods. But then we have the clear fuselage half. Now I'm not obviously going to clip this together because once it's in, it's in. But as you can see there, you can get that effect of looking through the model. Now that's a really nice touch and we don't see a lot of that. Rivet detail, lines. When you look at the wings, and Ryan will get some photos of that, you'll actually see the stressed fabric effect as well as the runners, the formwork, etc. Really well done. So the guys at Suyata have pushed themselves on this kit and they've done a great job. I'm really looking forward to their Titanics when we get those in stock. But the Fokker triplane has been exceptionally well received, as has the Sopwith Camel. As I said, anything of a World War I flavour is really, really red hot in modelling circles. As a wholesaler, we find a lot of demand for that type of product. Things like the Dustwork U-boat, DWK 72001, that we had recently, and we've got another shipment about to arrive in a few days, was immensely popular, sold out, and now the upgrades have been announced for it. Things like a resin dock for a diorama, there's additional templates for scribing, there's additional decal sets, etc., etc. These are all going to be very, very well received at market. So that's just a bit of a brief overview of the SD or egg range that we wholesale here at Hobbies Australia. They're available in stores now and also through online platforms throughout Australia. Next time you're in a hobby store, when you get the opportunity to go in and browse, have a look at the SD range. Ask the guys at the counter about them, see what they've got. They really are well worth having a look at. As I said, they're a little bit left of centre, they're fun, they're funky, they're bringing people to the hobby, they're getting guys who have been away from the hobby for a little while to re-engage, and they really do tick a lot of boxes. Value for money, good subject material, build the ease of build, attention to detail, etc., etc. Really, really good stuff. Can't recommend them enough to you. One thing we're going to do here at the tail end of the video is that Ryan's going to put up some pictures of a BMAX Nunu Bmw M8. This is a kit that's coming to us shortly in our next shipment, and we're able to get a pre-production sample, and we had that built. When you actually look at that model, and I'll very carefully get it out, and we'll get some better photos of this through the video, but when I put this on my desk, a lot of the guys in the office walked past and went, "Oh, didn't know you collected die-cast cars, didn't think you were into die-cast at all, thought you were a military guy." Well, I am, but the quality of this car, in the way it's been built, straight out of the box, you would easily be forgiven for thinking this is a die-cast model. The quality of this kit, the fit is so good. And in a video down the track, we'll have a look at showcasing the range of BMAX Nunu, but that's one of the new brands to us here at Hobbies Australia, one that's been very, very warmly received, and it's a brand that's growing. They've announced later in the year that we'll see some Formula One cars from them, and also some Grand Prix motorcycles, and that's going to be really, really exciting, and that's going to complement the range of kits that we currently have here at Hobbies Australia. So, until next time we get to catch up, take care in this crazy world. The last few days have been a bit trying for everybody in New South Wales and Victoria. So stay safe, take care, and of course, when you've got the opportunity, build more kits. I'm Andrew from Hobbies Australia. We'll look forward to catching up with you soon. Bye-bye.